Hey class! So I picked 3 videos that I think will be really helpful when we start the weightlifting unit on Monday. The first one's squats. Squats are really important in strengthening your legs, which is good for any sports or basically your overall health. In this video, I want you to pay attention to a few things. I want you to pay attention to where the bar lands on his back. Does it land on his neck or lower down on his back? Where his feet are positioned, where his toes are positioned. And when he squats, is he pushing through his toes or his heels when he's coming back up? All right, enjoy. All right, so did you notice where did the bar land? It landed on his back, not on his neck. You don't want to apply all that pressure, especially as you start to get heavier in weight. It's easier for your shoulders and your back to hold that versus your neck. His feet, they were shoulder width apart. His toes were slightly pointed out. He deep squats, and when he rises, he shoves through with his heels. You don't want to do your toes. You want to push the ground with your heels. The next are deadlifts. Deadlifts are a little more simple of a lift. The only thing I find difficult, and it gets harder as your weight increases, is the grip strength. I'll go over some different grips that you can use while doing deadlifts. That makes it a little easier for your arms and things. But in this video, I want you to pay attention again. Where are his feet? Where are his hands? Pay attention to his back. That's really, really important with deadlifts. Is his back straight as a board? Is there any curvature in it? So pay attention to those things in this video. All right, thanks.
How to deadlift. Go feet shoulder width apart, and we're gonna let our hands hang down exactly in front of us, how we would naturally. All we're gonna do is reach straight down, and that is your deadlift. That's gonna be your deadlift, right here. So, things to remember when we deadlift: chest up, head's gonna stay neutral. Our lower back is gonna be in, and it's gonna be nice and tight. The way I describe a deadlift is in 2 parts. The first part is gonna be here. It's gonna be up the front of the shins, it's gonna be an extension of the knee, and as we come up above the knee, we're gonna push our hips through, and that's a squeezing of the glutes, squeezing of the hamstrings, squeezing of the lower back. So, as we come back down, it's gonna be down the front of our quads. No bend in the knee yet, no bend in the knee yet. As soon as we get over the knee, we bend down and we hit the floor. So, it's 2 parts of the movement. We're gonna merge them into one. So, first part of the movement is here. Second part of the movement, hips through. So, how do we move that into one? We come up and we snap through. Nice and slow down, and we come up and we snap through. That's how to deadlift.
All right. So, second video done, deadlifts. A little bit of what we talked about in the past video and what you saw is his feet were hip width apart. His hands were basically resting and he went straight down, but his back is board straight. A lot of people have a tendency to go, and they want to arch their back as they're pulling all that weight, but you're applying all that weight on your back. Your legs are much stronger than your back. It is very important that you push through the ground, through your heels, and you use your legs. It's just like when you move boxes or anything like that. You're always hearing your mom and dad say, push through your legs, don't use your back. Oh, I threw my back out. It's all from, using your back. Same thing. So the next video we're going to go over is box jumping. It's really important that you either mix while you're lifting heavy or at the end, explosive motions, box jumping, lunge jumpings, anything like that where you use quick motions, because heavy lifting constantly can actually, I always say it's like they put lead in your feet. You just get really stuck to the ground, and it's important, especially for sports, anything like that, to have your fast motions. Your quick twitch muscle is always good. So the next video is going to be box jumping, and they're teaching you the proper ways of box jumping. I want you to pay attention to all the little tips he gives you because it will help tremendously.
Stand position. Will have his feet shoulder width apart, toes will be slightly pointed outward, and his arms will be located along the sides of his body. From here, he's going to go into an eccentric load, so he's going to push his butt back, he's going to flex at the knees, and he's going to keep his arms behind his body. This is going to give him a great pre-stretch, so he can put more force through his heels and propel his body forward onto the box. At this point, we're going to go into the second phase. So will extend his hips. At the same time, he will extend his knees and even extend the ankles. We call this triple extension. This will give him the most power from the floor through to his body and then out onto the plyometric box. You'll also see that his hands have come forward. We want to use our arms to throw our body weight forward. That'll help us get more height on our jumps and also more length. Last thing we want to cover is the landing. We want to make sure that Will is landing in a quarter squat with his knees slightly bent to absorb those forces that he's going to be propelling from his feet up onto the box. So lastly, we need to put all three stages together. So Will, if you can demonstrate a plyometric jump for us in starting position. Again, feet shoulder width, toes slightly pointed out. Go into your load, bring your hands behind your back. And he's going to throw his arms forward and his hips will come forward as well. Soft landing, very nice. Okay, so you see how Will also land very softly. I always make sure to let people know that if you're robbing a house, the alarm shouldn't go off. That's how quiet you should be. Give me one more, Will. Hands come back as he loads. They come forward to propel his body upward. He lands nice and soft. So that's how we're going to add a little bit of power to your workout. Now it's time for you to give it a shot.
Power! Your workout.
Okay, guys, so that was box jumps. Little recap of what he talked about: bending your knees, putting your arms back, pushing through your toes, and landing softly. He actually was landing kind of loudly. I don't know if you noticed that, but he was. You can land softly by more as you jump and you kind of come down and you bend your knees, but I'll show you more of this on Monday. But it was a basic good showing you, from start to finish on how to jump. You always want to start lower than you think you can jump, because if you miss the box, you can scrape your shins or just fall, and it ends up being painful and embarrassing, and I've done it, and so now I just jump at a smaller box. So just slowly work your way up. It's the same as weight. Don't just start at the highest and go for it, because you'll end up hurting yourself. But yeah, I hope you learned something from those videos, and have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you Monday.